The movie begins with John Tridon, a highly trained Marine, leading a dangerous mission in war-torn Iraq. His objective is to rescue a group of hostages held by ruthless terrorists. John is ordered to wait for reinforcements before acting, but the situation takes a critical turn when the captors threaten to execute the hostages. Faced with a heart-wrenching choice, ignoring his superior's commands, he boldly launches a solo attack on the enemy camp. Despite being left-handed, John's exceptional combat skills and sharp instincts allow him to defeat all the terrorists and safely rescue the hostages. The next day, back at the military base, John is called to meet the colonel. Although the colonel admires his bravery, he regretfully hands John an honorable discharge letter for disobeying orders. John is dismissed from the Marine Corps, but his actions remain a source of pride for him. He knows he did the right thing to protect lives, even at the cost of his career. Returning to California, John reunites with his loving wife, Kate. Their heartfelt embrace marks a brief moment of peace for John after years of intense military service. Elsewhere, a notorious criminal named Rome sets his sights on a rare diamond worth $12 million, stored in a high-end jewelry store. Rome, along with his crew, including his partner Vess, hatches a plan to steal the priceless gem. Later, at the jewelry store, Rome's gang creates chaos. Disguised as customers, they distract the staff while Rome confronts the bulletproof glass guarding the diamond. Frustrated, Rome takes a woman hostage to force the employees to unlock the glass. Unknown to the onlookers, the woman is Angela, Rome's girlfriend and a hidden member of his criminal gang. After securing the diamond, Rome ruthlessly kills a police officer who recognizes him, increasing the tension as the gang tries to escape. A gunshot accidentally hits a police car arriving at the scene. The chaos deepens when Morgan, one of Rome's accomplices, opens fire on the approaching officers. In another part of town, John has started a new job as a security guard at a large corporate office, working alongside his partner, Joe. Apparently, John finds the work unfulfilling compared to his action-packed Marine days, but Joe seems happy with the steady routine and paycheck. One day, a wealthy, arrogant man arrives at the building with 2 towering bodyguards. His arrogant attitude irritates John, who feels disheartened by the contrast between his past and present roles. Suddenly, an emergency call comes from the 12th floor. The wealthy man has attacked his ex-girlfriend, who had been unfaithful to him with her boss. As a result, John and Joe rush to stop the assault. When confronted, the man becomes enraged and refuses to cooperate. John has no choice but to restrain him physically and escort him downstairs. Before leaving, the man orders his bodyguards to attack John. However, John's combat training kicks in, and he easily defeats the bodyguards, though the fight unintentionally damages company property. Unfortunately, John's actions at the office stir up outrage, leading to his immediate dismissal on his very first day. Returning home, he tries to hide what happened from his wife, Kate, but fate has other plans. Kate stumbles upon a news report showing John's altercation as a security guard. Concerned and wanting to support him, Kate suggests a relaxing vacation to the peaceful Cedar Hills, hoping the serene surroundings will help ease his mind. Meanwhile, Rome, who escaped with Angela after the diamond heist, receives a mysterious call. The caller demands the stolen diamond in exchange for $6 million. Rome, intrigued but cautious, begins planning his next move. The next day, John and Kate set out for Cedar Hills. During the drive, Kate shares her wish to visit the beach, while John expresses his longing for the calm landscapes of Cedar Hills. Soon after, they stop at a gas station to refuel, unknowingly crossing paths with Rome and his crew, who are also there. Shortly after, tension rises when a police car pulls into the station. Rome and his gang, still anxious from their crime, panic, though the officers don't recognize them. Morgan acts recklessly and shoots one of the officers. Rome, left with no choice, shoots the second officer in the patrol car. This sound of gunshots jolts John into action. Amid the chaos, Bennett, one of Rome's men, strikes John. Angela, who is ruthless and determined to leave no witnesses, shoots the store clerk. With their getaway car now disabled due to punctured tires, Rome and his crew hijack John's vehicle. They take Kate as a hostage, planning to use her as leverage if they face a standoff. Despite his injuries, John musters the strength to get up, but Morgan suddenly sets off a bomb, causing a massive explosion. Miraculously, John survives, where he helps one of the injured police officers and commandeers a patrol car. Using the radio, He reports the incident and begins pursuing Rome and his gang. During their escape, Angela finds Kate's bag and discovers an ID card revealing that Kate's husband is a Marine. Believing John died in the explosion, Angela dismisses the information, thinking it's no longer relevant. But their relief is short-lived, as they spot John's car chasing them. Acting quickly, Bennett and Morgan fire a hail of bullets at John's vehicle, attempting to stop him. The pursuit takes them through a rough area with road construction. Rome's vehicle eventually comes to a halt at the edge of a river, unable to cross. Seizing the moment, John crashes his car into theirs, and the collision sends both vehicles plunging into the river. Submerged underwater, John's car begins to sink, and he appears to drown. Believing John is gone, Kate is devastated. Adding to her sorrow, their car is destroyed beyond repair. Rome, realizing the police will soon catch up, decides to move through the swampy outskirts to make tracking them harder. Meanwhile, at the gas station, a determined detective named Van Buren arrives, responding to a report made earlier by John. At the same time, near the spot where John's car is submerged in the river, John suddenly appears, drenched but alive. He tells Van Buren about his wife's kidnapping by Rome and pleads for help. Van Buren listens but insists that the case is already in police hands, and John should let them handle it. However, John, fueled by desperation and love for Kate, refuses to listen. Ignoring the detective's warnings, he sets out alone on a dangerous mission to find her. Elsewhere, Rome and his group trudge through the swamp, their journey made harder by the dense vegetation and murky water. Kate, determined not to give up, seizes an opportunity to fight back. She struggles fiercely, but Bennett and Angela quickly overpower her. The commotion irritates Morgan, who lashes out in anger. Vess, already worn out from the ordeal, voices his frustration, but Morgan, now at his breaking point, loses control and shoots Vess in a sudden outburst. The group is left stunned by the violent act. As they press on, Rome receives a call from the person who wants the stolen diamond. Instead of accepting the offer, Rome makes a bold decision to keep the diamond, feeling the risk he's taken outweighs the money being offered. At the same time, the police organize a search operation, deploying officers and helicopters to search through the swamp for Rome and his gang. Alone in the treacherous terrain, John moves quietly but determinedly. He discovers Vess's knife lying near a tree and, using his marine training, pieces together the path Rome's group has taken. This small discovery renews his hope that Kate is still alive. Venturing deeper into the forest, John accidentally triggers a trap. A hidden net springs from the ground, lifting him into the air. Thinking quickly, he uses his skills to cut himself free. However, just as he regains his footing, a man appears out of nowhere, pointing a gun at him and accusing him of being a cop. John tries to explain his mission to rescue his wife, but before he can say much, another man sneaks up from behind and knocks him out with a heavy blow. When John regains consciousness, he finds himself tied up inside a dark and dingy warehouse. The men holding him are no ordinary kidnappers. They are hunters and drug dealers, mistaking John for a police officer on their trail. Realizing he can't convince them, John comes up with a plan. He pretends to be a cop and warns them that a tracking device on his body has already alerted backup. John seizes the moment, overpowering one of his captors and freeing himself from the restraints. Acting swiftly, he disables the second man and escapes the warehouse. After a long and challenging trek, John finds the trail again, leading him to a small cottage hidden on the edge of the swamp. Inside, Rome and his gang are taking a short break, discussing their next move while waiting for a contact from Miami. At that moment, Rome orders Morgan to fix the generator and restore the power to light up the cottage. As Morgan crawls under the cottage to deal with the generator, John seizes the opportunity for a surprise attack. The two clash in a fierce fight. Using all his training and strength, John finally overpowers Morgan, delivering a fatal strike with his dagger. Meanwhile, Rome steps outside to arrange their escape. He plans to secure a getaway car for the trip to the port and assigns Bennett to find a boat they can use. As Bennett leaves the cottage, John ambushes him too. The two struggle intensely, but John, determined to protect Kate, in the end, he defeats Bennett with a powerful blow, ending the fight for good. Just then, Detective Van Buren arrives unexpectedly, offering to help. John quickly teams up with Van Buren to create a plan. They decide to disable the generator, plunging the cottage into darkness. During the blackout, Kate sees a chance to escape and tries to run. Unfortunately, Angela notices her and chases her down, capturing her again. The situation escalates further when John bursts into the cottage. At the same moment, Van Buren enters and points his gun at Rome. To John's shock, Van Buren suddenly turns his gun on him and reveals his true intention, that he has been working with Rome all along to get the diamond. Thinking quickly, John uses Van Buren's body as a shield. In the confusion, Rome escapes with Angela and Kate. Before leaving, Rome shoots a gas cylinder, triggering a massive explosion that destroys the cottage. During the explosion, John narrowly survives by diving into the nearby river. John struggles to recover in the water. A swamp policeman soon spots him and orders him to come out of the river. But John, driven by desperation to save Kate, overpowers the officer in a fight. He takes the officer's weapons and commandeers his boat, determined to chase after Rome. Rome, meanwhile, realizes that Van Buren's car is too easy for the police to track. Angela then flags down a passing truck and, using her charm, tricks the driver before killing him. Back on the river, John hears a radio report about the truck driver's murder. As night falls, John finally arrives at the port. Among the chaos, he spots a truck where Kate is being held captive. Using the confusion caused by Kate's defiant struggle, John leaps onto the moving truck. He confronts Angela and manages to force her out of the truck. Amid the chaos, Rome tries to shoot John, but Kate fights back, making him drop his weapon. Desperate to shake John off, Rome recklessly drives the truck through huts, smashing everything in his path. John holds on until a final crash into a building throws him off the truck. The crash triggers a massive explosion. The truck, now uncontrollable, slides off into the river with Kate still trapped inside. John sprints after the sinking vehicle. Before he can reach her, Rome intercepts him, launching a brutal attack. The two engage in a fierce and desperate fight. A falling building strikes John, momentarily leaving him vulnerable. Rome seizes the opportunity, grabbing a hammer and wielding a chainsaw, intent on finishing John off. Using his military training and quick reflexes, he fights back with precision. The duel reaches its climax when John delivers a powerful kick, sending Rome into the roaring flames. Without hesitation, John dives into the river, swimming frantically toward Kate, who is unconscious inside the sinking truck. Pulling her free, he surfaces and desperately tries to revive her, performing chest compressions and refusing to give up. Kate gasps for air and opens her eyes. Relief washes over John as he holds her close, grateful that she is alive. From the flames, Rome resurfaces, his body covered in burns but his rage undiminished. John, thinking quickly, turns the chain against Rome in a precise counterattack. In the quiet aftermath, John and Kate hold each other, finally safe after their harrowing ordeal.